I think it's very bad for New York. I don't know that he's going to get in. It's inconceivable that but he's a communist, and he's a pure communist. I think he admits it, but I can't imagine it. But let's say this. If he does get in, I'm going to be president, and he's going to have to do the right thing, or they're not getting any money. He's a radical left lunatic. I think it's very bad for New York.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. To everybody that's going to tune in later, thank you as well. All right. So we got Trump calling out New York City over Mamdani. Zohran Mamdani. What's going on, everybody? Thank you to everybody that's tuning in. Let me know where you're coming from. I will shout you out if you are in the chat early enough. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in. All right. So y'all know I'm normally not on a Monday, but we're going to make this happen because I'm off from my part-time job. So, yes, brother. Caleb Collins is in the house. What's going on, brother? Yes, it's a Monday. I got the whole week off, brother. So we're going to get into some trouble this week. We're going to get into some trouble. If you could, as you're coming in, like the video, we're going to get into some trouble this week. All right, some good trouble. But Mamdani, why is Trump so up in arms over Zohran? Shall we call him a pest? I don't know. We'll find out. But Zohran has some very interesting ideas and ideals. Let's listen in to some of his problems with American ideals. Let's listen in. All right. So here we go. Let's hold on one second. There we go. So let's listen into his agenda and what it's built upon.
So when people say democratic socialist, right? And I'm curious what you think this means. I mean, do you like capitalism?
No, I have many critiques of capitalism. And I think ultimately the definition for me of why I call myself a democratic socialist is the words of Dr. King decades ago. He said, call it democracy or call it democratic socialism. There must be a better distribution of wealth for all of God's children in this country. And that's what I'm focused on, is dignity and taking on income inequality. And for too long, politicians have pretended that we're spectators to that crisis of affordability. We're actually actors, and we have the choice to exacerbate it, like Mayor Adams has done, or to respond to it and resolve it, like I'm planning to do.
So when people say...
all the buzzwords, right? He just openly admits it. He's a democratic socialist, which is anti-constitution. He wants, we're actors. He almost sounds like seizing the means of production.
A democratic socialist.
All the Marxist playbook. He has a problem. He has critiques of capitalism. He's un-American. On the face of his ideas are un-American. He goes back to Dr. King. Who cares what Dr. King thought? Dr. King was not a founder of this nation. He didn't write the Constitution. We need to go back to the Constitution and find out what the framers of the Constitution thought if you want to actually run this country the way it's supposed to be run. Now, he's admitting, though, this is the one thing that you can say about him. He is absolutely admitting that he wants to remake America in someone else's image, not in the image of the Constitution, not in the image of the founding fathers, not in God's image. He uses God, right? He uses God. All of God's children should have, I don't know. They always cloak their language in spirituality because this is a religion to them. The democratic socialist, secular humanism, all of these are merging together. Socialism, Marxism, communism, secular humanism, they merge together because they deny the divine, because they themselves believe that humankind is actually God, that we are the height of rationality. Right. Again, Brother Caleb Collins, you are absolutely right. Why do we? Because when you're young, free stuff sounds great to you, because especially there's been a generational shift to people who don't want to work hard. The participation trophy generation has been given pretty much everything their entire lives, and they're just wondering, why do I have to work for it now? And when you hear someone come along that says, well, I'm going to give you free stuff. I'm going to give you free stuff. Thank you for tuning in, Brian Murray. Appreciate you for commenting. Thank you for joining in. And if you could come in and like the video, that gets the engagement up. We can get some more people in here to talk about this. But this Zohran Mamdani person is the final boss of the participation trophy generation, the secular humanist generation that has been indoctrinated to believe that they don't have to work for anything, that they are to be gifted whatever they desire. You don't have to struggle. Struggle is antithetical to their worldview. Everything needs to be gimme, right? If you're familiar with the Garfield Christmas cartoon, right? Gimme. Random songs just pop into my head. As a musician, I'm always thinking of some song that matches the situation. But if it sounds like he's a socialist that wants to seize the means of production, well, that's exactly what he says. He's serious.
Purposes about this entire project, it's not simply to raise class consciousness, but to win socialism. And obviously raising class consciousness is a critical part of that. But making sure that we have candidates that both understand that and are willing to put that forward at every which moment that they have, at every which opportunity that they're given. We have to continue to elect more socialists. And we have to ensure that we are unapologetic about our socialism. There are also other issues that we firmly believe in, whether it's BDS, right, or whether it's the end goal of seizing the means of production, where we do not have the same level of support at this very moment. And what I want to say is that it is critical that in the way that we organize, in the way that we set up our work and our priorities, that we do not leave any one issue for the other, that we do not meet a moment and only look at what people are ready for, but that we are doing both of these things in tandem. Because it is critical for us to both meet people where they're at and to also organize for what is correct and for what is right, and to ensure that over time we can bring people to that issue. The ramifications of victory here is the difference between life and death for so many of our brothers, sisters, and family beyond the binary across this borough of Queens. It's the difference between having cash bail anymore or not. It's the difference between having sex work be decriminalized and not. And with every battle that we fight as socialists, we need to remember what the stakes are and ground ourselves in them and why those stakes are important and critical to us as individuals.
Hate it.
Oh man, well, this was asinine. If you're in there, because you come in, if you like the video, thank you, Brian Murray. I appreciate you, brother. I'm just trying to be a normal guy that believes what the Bible says and logically follow up. Oh, thank you for the compliment, though, brother. Oh man, but this guy is a piece of work, because everything that he's saying has been proven to make the places that have enacted them worse. Decriminalization of sex work. Seizing the means of production. The history is not on your side. Logic is not on your side. History is not on your side. We have no successful examples of this working long term and making the lives of the people who enact it, their lives better. Thank you, Vivian Pride, for tuning in. AW5881, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you all. If you all could like the video on your way in, thank you. That would help with the engagement. We can get more people in here to either yell at me or agree with me, or passively say nothing, because I know there are people who lurk, obviously, but because I find out later when people in my daily life tell me, hey, I saw your video on that thing. That was interesting. Hey, I saw that video on that thing, and I don't like your face, right? So, yeah. But Zohran is not, he's not sugarcoating it. This is their religion. Secular humanism is a religion. And he's saying we have to keep first principles in our mind whenever we're discussing this with people who disagree with us. We have to keep the first things first. We have to make sure that we don't lose our focus and try to convert them with a softer agenda. No, we need to be open and honest about what we want and how we're going to go about getting it. We're going to try to elect more socialists. These people are playing for keeps. And that's one of the reasons why when people complain about us voting for Trump, well, it's these people are coming. They're coming. So who do we get to stand up to them? TJS BBI, I know that's a great question. Was the Soviet experiment all in vain? I don't know. I don't know. Oh boy, but the socialists are coming. The Democratic Socialists like AOC, like Biden was less than was more of an establishment Democrat who was elected and was malleable and could be easily controlled. But the establishment Democrats are dying off. This new wave of Democrats, the AOCs, the Jasmine Crockett's, the Ilhan Omar's, they're coming. And they want the means of production. They want you to produce so that they can live high on the hog, and you have to support them. He says it. Y'all don't believe me? Oh, Zohran says it. Oh, Zohran, he's right in line with him. Come on, Zohran, tell him again. What's going on, brother Derek Franklin? Harry 76. Thank you for tuning in. Hold on one second. We're going to listen to old Zohran tell us. This is his agenda. He's not hiding it. Right? Mike Lee, what's going on? Danny Weaver, welcome. Welcome. All right. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to listen to Zohran tell us about his...
We went on your website and realized there's a policy proposal that says your plan, and I'm going to quote it for folks, is to shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods. Explain why you are bringing race into your tax proposal.
That is just a description of what we see right now. It's not driven by race. It's more of an assessment of what neighborhoods are being undertaxed versus overtaxed. We've seen time and again that this is a property tax system that is inequitable. It's one that actually Eric Adams ran on saying that he would change in the first 100 days. He's since sought to defend it and lost at every juncture in court.
And I understand you're saying we're simply describing the types of neighborhoods that would see these increase in taxes, and yet by invoking race, do you run the risk of potentially alienating key constituents?
I think I'm just naming things as they are. And ultimately, the thing that motivates me in this is to create a system of fairness. It is not to work backwards from a racial assessment of neighborhoods or our city. Rather, it's to ensure that we actually have an equal playing field. And right now, what we see with the property tax system is one that is overtaxing a number of New Yorkers and undertaxing others, and an inability of political will to resolve that.
So no plans to change that language on your website?
The focus here is to actually ensure a fair property tax system, and that the use of that language is just an assessment of the neighborhood.
All right.
Oh man, that was something else. So thank you to everybody for liking, commenting, and subscribing. To the question of how much Bitcoin it would take Russia to pay me, I don't know, but y'all can give me some super chats. All right, yeah, y'all can give me some super chats. I take those right, and any Cash App information I send it straight to Bitcoin. So if you send me a Cash App, I will spend it on Bitcoin. Now, but yeah, support it, because everybody's gonna call this a grift. I mean, it is what it is. My time is valuable. I don't work for free. Come on, who does? All right. Well, they want us to. They want us to work for the Zohran want us to work. They want y'all, especially white people. He wants you all to work for free. He wants you all to pay for all of the programs and give them, give the black and brown people and the immigrants as much, paper them up as much as possible. Right. This is exactly what he's going for. So, yeah, he wants you all richer and whiter neighborhoods. White people, they coming for you. More property taxes. Now, if y'all exit stage left from California, exit stage right from New York, we're going to see a lot of New York to Texas U-Hauls happening very soon if this guy gets elected. This is insane. But no other group is allowed to be openly racist against but white people. That's the only group that you can be openly racist against in this country and it not be a problem, right? I mean, it's amazing that you can say pretty much anything about white people and they just have to take it. Now, how long before you think that this country, which was built and engineered by white people, now everybody's going to say, oh, no, like, oh, my goodness, what is it, right? They're
going to put y'all back in chains.
They're going to put y'all back in chains.
And you ain't black.
And I ain't black for saying that. I know I ain't black for saying that. I get it. I understand. But thank you to everybody that's tuning in. Let me get before I get too far into it. What's up? E-Dog, welcome. D-Mash, welcome. Dean Kohler, welcome. Ferdinand Divine. Yeah. Daniel, welcome. Everybody, welcome. Austin Quinn, welcome. All right. So, man. All right. Look, you with me, Brother Derek Franklin. Look, fair property tax right there. Right. It's obviously it's not my property. Thank you, Mike Lee. You said good video to prove my point. Thank you. Okay. So we need to really, yes. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. And double tap that screen like TDG says. Thank you. All right, so they tax pretty much everything, and then these people like Zohran get rich. This is a grift. If you want to know what an actual grift is, and if you come in and like the video, thank you to everybody. This is an actual grift. This guy is not qualified for the position that he holds. What he knows is that he has to promise people free stuff, and then he'll get elected. That's the secret. Right? You have to have strong backing, but the main thing is to promise the people free stuff. If you promise people free stuff, they're going to most likely elect you. And he actually, looks the part of a politician now, right? And since New York is now 30 to 40% non-American born, he fits right in. Okay. Now, this is another agenda of his. He's just laying out the playbook, the socialist playbook. Okay, let's listen in. I mean, boy, it's getting worse and worse, right? Worse and worse.
City-run grocery stores, I proposed a pilot program of one store in each borough. These are 5 stores in total. The total cost of this is $60 million. This is less than half the cost of what the city is already set to spend on a subsidy program for corporate supermarkets that has no guarantee of cheaper prices or collective bargaining agreements or even accepting
So
SNAP
you're
or
not
WIC.
looking at some like Soviet Union grocery stores on every corner that are going to be run by the government?
No, what I'm looking at is how to solve the very clear twin crises of affordability when you go to the grocery store and food deserts, which disproportionately impact black and brown New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs.
Let me ask y'all a question. Yeah, Trump has already called him a socialist. What's going on, James Govin? Trump has called him one. He's called himself one. He's a communist and socialist. This is right. Baggins, one of the Baggins brothers, says that promise things you can't deliver. That's the Democrat playbook. Exactly. Where is this? Right. This book right here would eliminate most of what he's, there's Thomas Sowell, Basic Economics. It would eliminate most of his misunderstanding about the basics, scarce resources that have alternative uses. He talked about $60 million just dropping, like it's a drop in the bucket. Hey, this is going to be a $60 million plan that I have. Okay, so where's that $60 million going to come from? Is it going to make... Now, this is the thing that he doesn't talk about. There's so many problems with his proposal here. This is going to... So go all over the world and look at all of the socialist-run grocery stores. The supply never meets the demand. Okay? Bread lines. The dollar being devalued. People just tossing it and throwing it away. And he wants to implement that in New York City. So state-run... Anything state-run should send alarm bells going off in your brain if you understand how inefficient and ineffective the state is. Whenever they try to take over the means of production of anything that the state isn't naturally or divinely tasked with doing, right? Because as a Christian, I believe that there are spheres that government has a sphere: protection and authority, bearing the sword, essentially is what we say it in Christian ethics, or Christian, not Christian ethics, but, Christian government thought. They bear the sword. The government is now trying to raise your children. They're trying to they're trying to produce and distribute your food. They're getting their tentacles into every facet of your life because they're trying to play God. And that's essentially what Zohran's talking about. Oh, we need to control prices. How do you control prices? Well, we control it by seizing the means of production. And then we tell you how much bread is going to cost, regardless of whether or not that is what the price of what it takes to produce it. Then those greedy bread makers will have to just take the hit, because we're never going to raise the price after higher than what we believe it should be set at. Regardless of what it takes for you to make it, this is how much we're charging. Profits be darned, right? And this is the problem, because they don't have an understanding of what? Of basic economics, right? Just a simple cursory understanding of basic economics would eliminate them making these stupid claims and trying these stupid ideas, right? This is essentially every time you hear him talk.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Because this has been tried in other countries and has been shown to be an abject failure. Why are we going to try it here in America? Because you think we have more money, so more money will make it work? But that's not how it goes. Because the government has been trying to solve problem after problem after problem after problem by throwing money at it. Well, since 1979, the Department of Education, our educational standards and testing scores have been going down. But we've been throwing money at it for years. I think in New York City, they spend about $12,000 per student per year. I think it's in the 20,000s. I actually have that statistics, but we're spending more and more money every year and failing at a record speed. We have people who can't logically form an argument. They can't follow premises that lead to a conclusion. They are completely devoid of sound reasoning skills, and we've been spending money like crazy. We've been war on poverty. We still have the poverty rate has stayed static for generations. This is the war on drugs. Fentanyl. I mean, it's a new drug coming in every so often. We had crack and cocaine and fentanyl and LSD, PCP. The war on drugs, we're losing. The war on education, we're losing. Anytime the government, no child left behind. We got a lot of dummies around here. Anytime the government declares war on something or tells you they're going to do a certain thing, then you can bet your bottom dollar that they're going to fail. And what they're going to do is they're going to shift the narrative to make sure that you don't pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, right? That's the Wizard of Oz principle, right? No, the great and powerful Oz has spoken. Oh, and you're like, wait a minute. You're just a guy behind. You look powerful, but you're just a guy behind the curtain working and you're a hack. And that's Zohran. He is the final form of this socialist, secular humanist mindset. Yes, Anthony, there is not enough money to fix stupid. Exactly. Right? And if you want to help me fix stupid, super chat. Right? Yeah, if y'all think I'm stupid, you should super chat me. Help me. Let's see if we can so that some of y'all that hate what I'm saying, right? Give me some. All right. Don't forget to like the video on the way in. We have 351 people watching and only 26 likes. Could we get that engagement up to 50%? That really helps, right? I'm giving y'all live a week. I'm trying to get to 8,000 subscribers by the end of July. So we're going to try to push it, right? And Elsa, you are absolutely right. They flip it, right? What they'll do is they never go back and do a forensics on the problems that were caused by the policies. They just deflect. They'll say, oh no, it had to be these other factors that caused the war on poverty and the Great Society programs to not do what we intended them to do. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Oh no, people are dumber. Well, it's the parents' fault. They're not oh no, teachers need more money. Well, the teachers' unions need more money. If teachers were more adequately compensated, then you'd get better results from the students. Pay no attention to the fact that they changed curriculums yearly. We know teachers personally. They're always changing curriculums. We had Common Core math and all these other things, and new math and this. Instead of the tried and true things that have worked for generations that prior to compulsory education educated the masses well. No, we don't want to do that anymore. We don't want to follow the old paths that got us to this point. No, we want to try something new every week, right? That's how you improve, right? Right? That's like Dory from Finding Nemo, right? You have that type of attention span. That's how she was able to be so successful, right? She just whoa, new curriculum. New bill, right? This is insane. But he is the final form, and Trump is trying to warn New York City, hey, come on, guys. Come on. Now, this was actually pretty funny. Yes. 420. I'm not going to say that name, but you are absolutely right. Schools need to be run. Essentially, what needs to happen, and government, this is the problem with government. Government has no checks and balances, and if you fail, it doesn't matter. You can fail upward in the government because the government has an endless supply of money. And so we just throw more money at it. We'll never stop to reassess because we have a monopoly. The government is the largest employer in this country. I think Walmart's second and Amazon may be third, but the government is number one. That shouldn't be. That should not be. That's insane. Now, because they have no incentive to improve. Okay. Now, this was pretty funny. This is the last thing we're going to talk about with we got two other things, right? Yeah. Oh, look at that. Yeah. Arthur Monk, you are absolutely right. Yeah. They $400 some million. They spent millions on illegal immigrants. Whoo. And they're $1 billion in debt. Yeah. He wanted a piece of Homan, right? He wanted a piece of Tom Homan. Look at him. He wanted a piece of him. There's a lot of hatred in that heart right there. He's like, oh, goodness. Now this was pretty funny. As they were leaving the the interview with Zohran, look at what the interviewer says at the end here. Right. Here we go.
Well, Assemblyman, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. Obviously, right now, center of discussion in the Democratic Party. And tomorrow on CNN, New York City Mayor Eric Adams will be on the lead with Jake Tapper. That will be at 5 o'clock. And next, we take you to Venice, where capitalism rules with Jeff Bezos' $50 million wedding.
Jeff Bezos' fit. What's going on, brother Caleb Collins? Thank you very much, brother. First super chat of the night from my faithful brother. He is a longtime subscriber, right? I think you're a longtime subscriber. I mean, long enough, right? But we've been knowing each other for years, so it doesn't matter if you were a subscriber. We actually know each other in real life, all right? Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, right? Okay, so she says, well, capitalism rules, where Jeff Bezos spent $50 million on his wedding. And you know what? I'm not mad at Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos has that kind of money. Jeff Bezos provides us with a service through Amazon. And Amazon, I remember when Amazon first started as a bookstore, just a bookstore, and look at it now, $50 million. He didn't do it the socialist way. And I actually have, I don't care. He's spend $50 million on your wedding. If you're a billionaire, you spend however much money you want on your wedding. But I know he wouldn't have been able to do that with government controlled means of production. And I know that Zohran gets his hands on Amazon warehouses in New York. He's going to destroy Amazon's productivity. Right? I know it took off. Did it not? Whoo! Exactly. This is insane. Now, we're going to listen into what Scott Jennings had to say about Zohran's agenda. I'm going to close some of these tabs. We're going to listen to a short version of it, and we might do a little bit longer version. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in. We got 430 watching. Could we get the engagement up to about 200? Let's get those likes in, right? I would love, wait, hold on. That's my page. I don't need to see my page. We already know what that's about, right? All right. We get that engagement up. Hit that like, double tap that screen, hit that like button if you do not mind. We got 400 in here and 50 likes. Let's get those likes up, right? Get that engagement up. See if we can get to over 1,000. Let's talk about some things that make people either really, really upset or really, really happy, right? Because that's Trump, right? It's either or. I don't know. You just got to hate him or love him.
I got to leave it there. Nobody's going to be able to walk Manhattan after he defunds the New York City Police Department, Maria. I wouldn't advise walking Manhattan after he gets rid of the police force.
Just to jump in, Mamdani, just to jump in. Hold on. Mamdani advocated for defunding NYPD in 2020. He's since said his goal is reform, not defunding. Exactly. And then also just
you guys are doing that again. It's the old Harris playbook.
Just one more thing. Point of order. He just said he didn't want to tax white people specifically, just higher income neighborhoods that do happen to be majority white.
He literally wrote it in his statement, Omar. He literally wrote it down. Are you letting him get off the hook?
White? No, I am saying that he said that, but not on the basis of race specifically. I'm not saying he didn't say that. He did say that,
okay,
but not on the basis of race specifically. Scott. I gotta leave
deny. Right? That's it. That's what you do, right? You'll say one thing.
I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit black people. No.
Right? But then you're all about black people. I'm black, right? She dancing, right? Kamala was dancing, doing her thing with the black people, right? Yeah, I'm black just like y'all. And then Candace Owens debunked that myth. And so we got all of this. We got these. This is their playbook, right? Scott Jennings, and I'm sorry I didn't put Scott in the camera because it was just that guy, but I appreciate you all for understanding that. Right now, this is the problem. The problem is these people say exactly what they mean. Zohran said it. He says he wants to make property taxes higher for richer and whiter. Right? He wants to make them higher so that helps the people of color and indigenous, whoever's not rich and white. He wants them to be able to live off the tax dollars of rich white people. And why is this black man trying to spin that as something that it's not? Right? As something that it's not. Okay? Like this is. But we don't actually, we could just take him at his word. Right? Right? Let's just take him at his word. Now, guys, I got rid of him because he's doing the same thing over and over again. Like, I'll give you an opportunity to state your case, but if you keep saying the same thing over and over and over again, you're not here to engage in good faith. But unfortunately, people, they don't understand that. I give them a couple of times. Again, if you're a bot, if you behave like a bot, then I will treat you like a bot. All right. Now, yes. So unfortunately, this black guy is essentially defending Zohran, but Zohran made he's been very, very clear. He wants you all to know that he doesn't like that white people make more money And he wants those white people to pay their fair share. They always say that. Right? They always say that. Fair share. What's your fair share? How do we determine someone's fair share? That's the question. Because all that means to them is, I don't want to have to pay anything, and I want the rich people to pay for everything. That's ultimately what it means. So why do we support greedy people? This is greed on steroids. I know that, look, some people have been saying that Trump should enact, where's this thing? Where is it? Oh boy. Let's see. Yeah. They were saying, could Trump enact this? Well, no, not that one. That's a different link. All right. Where is it? Yeah. the Communist Control Act, right? To stop him from being elected. That's what they're saying, right? Yeah, he is totally un-American, right? That's what they're saying. Trump should enact this because to get rid of Zohran, right? To prohibit from serving in certain representative capacities and other purposes, right? Of 1954. Yeah, he's absolutely un-American. Right. That's exactly right, Brother Derek Franklin. Your fair share is whatever the socialists say your fair share should be. That's it. 10, 20, 30. Minimum wage, $70 an hour. Right? This is unfortunate. Because you don't have, if you can't come up with some objective metric to figure out what someone's fair share is, then it's a nebulous term that means absolutely nothing. And it can be whatever you want it to be, whenever you want it to be. That's covetousness. And for those of us who are Christians, that is a command that God says, thou shalt not. See, I don't covet Jeff Bezos' wealth. Jeff Bezos was born at the right time and took advantage of his opportunities to create the wealth that he has. So did Elon Musk, so did Donald Trump. I don't go to sleep worried about how rich they are because I'm not covetous. These people drink down jealousy and envy every day, and it is destroying them. They hate anyone who has something that they desire. This is absolutely insane. This mindset it's poisoning our country. It's poisoning the New York political system. They're about to elect someone based on their own covetousness. And it needs to be called out. People like Trump. Trump called him a lunatic, leftist, and a socialist, communist. Scott Jennings, calling out his agenda. And calling out people like this sellout in the middle who continue to support the Democrat Party when the Democrat Party does absolutely nothing for black people on a year-to-year basis, except some useless symbols like Juneteenth. Thank you. Woo-hoo. Right? And then Kamala said it.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
She's not going to do anything. They tell y'all. They tell y'all exactly. They use fear tactics.
Put y'all back in chains.
This is what they do. They tell y'all exactly. Every year they show you the playbook, Black America, and then you run back to them, and then you try to tell us who are freed from the plantation, y'all better get back on this plantation, sell out coon, Uncle Tom, and we're like, but y'all are the slaves. We're not slaves to any party, right? Y'all are slaves to the Democrat Party. Try to leave the Democrat plantation. Watch what happens. Right? Watch what happens. They're very, very, very loving and caring, right? When you try to walk away, or you dissent on a position that they hold dear. Don't be LGBTQIA plus friendly enough. Don't be illegal immigration friendly enough. Don't be child deletion friendly enough. A woman's right to choose enough. Watch how quickly they turn on you. Oh man, but we're the slaves. Those of us who have left the plantation and are thinking for ourselves, we're the slaves. It must be so hard to live in that cognitive dissonance. Y'all's brains must be like, oh goodness. Yes, low IQ stuff, right? Okay, so Scott, now let's keep going. All right, so Scott Jennings reacts. Now that was one. I kept that one. Oh, Al Sharpton. Woo, Al Sharpton is a charlatan, a false teacher, no kind of reverend that anyone should be paying attention to. He is a Democrat shill who
I just want some money.
That's it. He just wants some money. He just wants some money. That's it. He just wants some money. That's all. Right? That's all. Okay? Now, if you want to know what Al Sharpton believes, follow the money. Follow the money. All right? Well, whatever Democrat check he can get, that's where he's going. Okay? That's where he's going. All right. So now I would do a longer. I'm not going to do the longer version of Scott Jennings talking about that. But let's listen to this because there's some information. Now, if y'all could come in, those of you who are liking the information, if you could like the video, that would be very helpful to get the engagement up. Double tap the screen. That helps me out tremendously. All right. Even if the financial support aside, that helps to get more people in here and get engagement up. All right. So we've got 293 people in here right now and 78 likes. If we could get the number of likes up to 50%, 150 likes would be great. Thank you. All right, let's keep it going. All right. Now, we're going to listen into this low confidence report information. Yes. All right. So here we go. All right.
I think a concerted effort was undertaken to make this mission look like a failure. This was a low confidence report, which was omitted when it was first reported. We didn't use the word low confidence.
Talk about what low confidence means.
It was a preliminary report, and it was done by the government, put on a system, I guess sent over to Congress somehow, and now the White House thinks that some Democratic members of Congress leaked it or characterized it in a leak in a way to try to make it seem like the mission was a failure to hurt Donald Trump politically. So I think they have a point about why they're upset. And what have we learned since? Israel says these things were decimated. The IAEA thinks they were decimated. Even Iran says massive damage was done to our nuclear sites. I do think that when it comes to Donald Trump, often the position of covering him is this must be disproved. And when it comes to Democratic presidents, the position is we'll take it at face value.
On the issue of who wants to make this look bad, I mean, that's your opinion. I think that's fine.
Scott Jennings hits on a point. For the mainstream media, it has been this way since 2016, 16. Trump is met with radical skepticism. I talked about it on the last video. It doesn't matter what he does. They're going to spin it. Who's that? Who do I need to get rid of? Is somebody in here? Somebody in here being, yeah. Somebody in here being a troll, right? Yeah. It's being a troll. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Now, that's been the normal pattern of the mainstream media for, let me see what this person's doing. Look, if any of my moderators are in here and they see someone acting up, right? If they're, I don't have a problem with disagreements, but trolling and the like will, like if you're just constantly posting the same thing over and over again and flooding the chat, I will ban you for that. Moderators, you can do the same. Ban anybody that's commenting and doing the same thing, saying the same thing over and over again. You can do that if anyone's using, if anyone blasphemes the Lord Jesus, they can get immediately banned. That's actually in the description when you sign up, right? So when you sign up, if I say blasphemy, and you know what, again, I'll just put this, these are the rules of engagement. Let's see, where is it? So we can, where's the, hold on one second, let me see something. Oh, wait. Yeah. So the rules of engagement are, again, you blaspheme Jesus, you're out of here, right? That's, stuff like that. All right. Okay. Now, but again, he can have his own stupid opinions, guys. I don't really care about that. Like, I really don't care. Yeah. I mean, he can say a lot of stuff. He can say incorrect things about Jesus as long as he doesn't blaspheme him. I don't really care about that. But I don't want to just ban people just to ban them, right? Yeah, he can be a dummy. That's fine. I don't have a problem with people being dummies, right? That's A-okay with me. You want to be a dummy in the chat? That just shows you, everybody gets to see it in the chat. So y'all just go ahead on and let him be a dummy if he's being a dummy. But when he starts to spam the chat, that's when I'll step in. Okay? So let's keep it moving. Now, the default position since 2015-16 has been that anything that Trump says, mainstream media, radical skepticism. It can't be true. He doesn't tell the truth, right? Nothing that Trump says that comes out of his mouth is true. He's a liar, and everything that he's done, right? He's essentially Satan. That's what their position is, okay? Now, for the rest of us rational thinking individuals, we'll treat him like we treat anyone else. Where if they continually show us that what they're saying is false, we'll start to be more skeptical. Now, it's rich that these people who have made their living off of lies and controlling the narrative and spin are upset with Donald Trump for the same thing. Allegedly the same thing. Which is one of the reasons why we just, after a certain point, when they keep crying wolf, we're like, whatever. Do you know how every video I come on here, I know that people are going to call me an Uncle Tom, a sellout, a coon, house slave, etc., etc. Do you know how numb I am to that at this point? Those are low IQ individuals that can't do anything to refute the arguments that we're putting forth. So all they have is name calling. And that's the Democrat playbook, especially for black men. It is to silence you through continuing to call you names. And hopefully by the time they're done berating you, you're so afraid to speak out that they've won. You hesitate, which is why I will never hesitate. I will never hesitate to call these low IQ individuals what they are. If you cannot form a cogent argument, if you cannot do anything but call names, you are low IQ. You are proving the point. So call me the names. You embolden me to keep going. That's when I know, oh yes, I'm getting under their skin. They can't say anything else, but they can call me names because that's all they can do. Right? That's the playbook against black men. The black man is supposed to be, oh, well, he's been trained for years in the educational establishment to cower when the black woman starts yelling at him or calling him names. That's what they train us to do. So it really takes strength and coherence and fortitude to say, I'm going to form my own thoughts about this. I'm going to look at the information. Right. Exactly. Right.
And you ain't black.
Right. I ain't black. Culturally, I already know I'm not black, and I'm fine with that. But it takes fortitude to stand up to the lies that people like the CNNs, the MSNBCs. And so you read, study, try to figure out what the truth is. I've had criticisms of Donald Trump as recently as last week. I'm going to criticize something on this video today. I don't believe everything that he does is right, and I don't agree with everything that he does. But I can give him his flowers when he gets something right, and I can criticize him when he does something wrong. That's called being normal. right? Okay. So we see this. They want to sabotage Trump. Every time he does something, they want to sabotage him. That's their default position, right? Default position is sabotage Trump. Okay. Yeah. Now, let's listen in. Okay. So the trade strategy Trump is doing, we're going to listen to it because people were saying the tariffs wouldn't work and the trade strategy is going right, brother. Exactly, Caleb. You can't be objective, right? It's an either or. They give you a false choice, right? A bifurcation. They give you a bifurcation. They're like, well, you got to choose this or that. It's either all Trump or no Trump.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
That's not how any of this works. We can actually look at the good things he does and say that was good. Look at the bad things and say, hey, change that. We don't like that. And apply pressure to him via social media, right? Using the platforms that we have to say, no, we're not on board with that. Podcasts like Joe Rogan's podcast, Candace Owens' podcast, people like that will push back. We don't have to accept everything that Trump does. We're grateful for the good things he does, and we call out the bad. Right? See, we're capable of doing that. You all have TDS and can't accept that he does some good things for the country. That's not my problem. It's not my problem. Right. And that's why I'm going to give. Oh, what is that? Yes. Orgullos. Yes. Trump is doing 1,000 times better than the Biden administration. That goes without saying. Oh, that goes without saying. Yes, comatose Biden. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. He keeps on winning, right? I'm loving it. Like for the majority of his presidency, I'm giving him the thumbs up, right? I'm loving it, right? But there's some things that I'd like to see him change, But we're gonna work with what we got. He's our commander in chief right now. So we're gonna work with what we got. All right, let's listen in.
I don't think there's any driving force or narrative that we can grab onto about what his trade strategy really is.
I can educate you if you'd like.
Please
so,
do.
Number one,
Sure.
we already have a deal with Great Britain. Number two, we're dealing strongly with the Chinese, and those conversations are where they are. Number three, all these other conversations are ongoing, and it's more than just the tariff rates. It's the non-tariff trade barriers that they're trying to get right. A lot of countries do things that make it very difficult for U.S. companies to do business. So they have put a lot of balls in the air here, and you can't deny the results. And even economists now who are predicting gloom and doom are having to admit, maybe one guy even said this week, maybe Trump outsmarted us on this. And just today, the stock market hit a record high. So it seems to be working out, and the driving force is we're getting better deals for America, better deals for American workers, and we're not being taken advantage of anymore. I haven't heard of the deal yet.
I don't think.
I mean, it really is that simple. Unfortunately, people who hate him can't see any of this because they're going to only watch the mainstream media. They may not see Scott Jennings, but the art of the deal, and I was even critical of the strike on Iran. I was critical of it because I was hoping that he wasn't following that Zionist narrative that Ted Cruz and the like put out. Okay, but it looks like we're not going to be into some prolonged military action in the Middle East. So I have to stand corrected. I was critical. He had to win me over. I'm just, okay, I don't see a prolonged strike happening. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Why do I give Trump the benefit of the doubt? Because for the most part, he's doing everything he said he would do. Now, there's some things that I'm still watching. I'm like, okay, what's this? Hold on. Now you said you would do this, and I'm going to talk about that in a future segment, probably the next segment, right? So, well, yeah, we'll talk about this. Now, I'm trying to figure this out. I need to do some more research on it, but I want to get a conversation started with you all. Okay. Now, thank you to everybody that's tuning in. Thank you to everybody that's liking. If you could like the video on your way in, I appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, right? Support information is down in the description, super chats, all that kind of stuff. Yes, everything, right? Okay. So let's take a look at this next clip where let's do the Marjorie Taylor Greene clip first. Yes, we'll do this one. We'll do the Marjorie Taylor Greene because I want to go back to this one. It's still, it's still a bug that I have that's not really settling well with me with our current administration. Not Trump, but just government in general. Yeah, here we go. Where is it? Whoop. Oh, is it taking? Okay, well, it decided that it doesn't want to play this one. Maybe that's a sign. All right. Okay, here we go. All
Congress
right,
since 2021. We have voted on 22 resolutions for Israel. 22 of them. All kinds of resolutions, denouncing anti-Semitism, supporting Israel. We voted on 22 of those. We never vote on resolutions proclaiming great things about America or defending certain Americans or defending Americans in general. But we have voted on 22 resolutions in the House defending Israel.
How many of you voted yes on?
I don't know. I don't know my exact record. The last one I voted no on, and then the one before that I voted present because I just started getting sick of it.
Well, that's kind of it. I mean, I've always noticed this, certainly in the last, I don't know how many years it's been, a while, where Republicans in the Congress are, always talking about Israel. I'm not against Israel. I've always liked Israel, so haven't really noticed it. Okay, fine. Love Israel, love any country, whatever. But it feels like something has changed. Like why? And clearly it has for you. What is that thing?
Well, I think here's the situation. It's coming to a point where it's so obvious all the time in everyone's language, the social media posts they put out, the statements that they make. They have to proclaim Israel. They have to proclaim their faith and loyalty in Israel and how they, Israel is our greatest ally. And it's a statement that has to be made over and over and over again to the point it's becoming like, wait a minute, what about our own country? What about our own people? Right. And we have so many problems here in America. And we talk about this all the time. $37 trillion in debt. Just like you and I were speaking before, our kids' generations. My kids are 22, 25, and 27. And our children's generation, they can't afford rent. They can't afford to buy a house. They can't afford insurance. They can't buy a new car. They can't find a good paying job. They're living month to month, paycheck to paycheck, credit card bills stacked up. And they literally look to the future going, how am I ever going to realize the American dream? And it seems hopeless for them. But then in Congress, everyone is chasing and pursuing and proclaiming their loyalty to a foreign country.
And she's absolutely right. This makes no sense. And it's worship. This is absolute worship. Israel has become an idol for conservatives, rhinos. And it's sickening. Because we're recognizing that what does this get us? We're trying to fix America's problems. While you all are talking about, and again, let's look at some of the things that idolatry tends to produce. You tend to become like your idol. Well, Israel is the most LGBTQ friendly nation in the Middle East. Oh, that's not surprising that we're following in those footsteps. There's so many things that are wrong with us accepting this idolatry of Israel in the conservative movement. There is no way we should elevate another country over our own. No other nation in history has done this. Can we find, please, well, maybe there is, and I don't know. But what other nation has done this that has elevated another nation above its own? When you're willing to say that America is if you're an American citizen and you're willing to say that if you're willing to say, like Nancy Bruce said, wait, not that one. Where is it? Where is she? I'm going to find it. Hold on one second. This is from another. Let's see. It's from another episode, so I've got to look for it. Where is it? There it is. Tammy Bruce. I had to look it up. All right. But if you're willing to say this openly, and this is insane.
Pride of being able to be here and do work that facilitates making things better for people, and in the greatest country on earth, next to Israel. Next to Israel. The pride of being able.
We have these people who govern here in America saying that Israel is the best nation on earth. That's unacceptable. What other nation in history has done that? Proclaimed the superiority openly when they are clearly superior. Now, so would Rome, while they're protecting Israel, the Pax Romana is spreading throughout the known world, did Rome say, while they're protecting Israel, you know what? Rome is the greatest empire on earth next to Israel. Whenever Rome wanted to, they could have stamped Israel out. And Titus actually destroyed the temple. They never thought that Israel was better than them. When they are protecting them, providing for them, and are clearly more dominant than they are. Why as Americans should we do what Rome didn't even do? When Rome was doing the same thing. Rome was protecting Israel. But we're supposed to say, oh, well, you know, they're the greatest. They're the greatest. This is, right? It just makes no sense that we would say Israel's better than we are when it's clear that we are. We're better than them as a nation. They start wars and we have to finish it for them. We provide them with aid. We give them billions of dollars, not the other way around. But they're better than we are. Make it make sense. Make it make sense, right? I just make it make. Thank you, Justice Sullivan. Thank you. I appreciate you for coming in. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Okay. Wow. All right. So we're gonna keep going down through our rundown. Now, this is where I might have some disagreements, but I need you all to help me with this one. Because Rand Paul is talking about the big, beautiful bill, and I need some information from you all, right? This is what. So let me ask you the break, whatever I forget what have I not convinced you of? I don't know. I've said a lot of things. Are we talking about the Israel thing? You can look at my video on the channel. On the channel, discussing the. What is it? Christian Zionism being toxic? Yes. If you want to, you can check that out. That may help. All right. So what is Rand Paul discussing here? I really need to figure this out. So y'all help me in the chat. Okay. So Rand Paul is going to talk about the big, beautiful bill. Now listen to this, and then we're going to move to a different topic. When it comes to the big, not so beautiful bill, this is Rand Paul right here. All right. I'm asking one simple question. He says, will the deficit be higher or lower next year? The answer is clear. Higher. That's why I'm voting no, and I urge my colleagues to ask themselves the same question before they vote. And will the deficit go higher? Because Trump did promise
whether
that would
to
not be the
vote
case.
For the big, not so beautiful bill, I've asked a very specific question. Will the deficit be more or less next year? The answer, without question, is this bill will grow the deficit. The federal government has fancy formulas and hundreds of wonky accountants who inform us of their projections over 10 years. but you often can't trust these projections. In an excellent piece written by the Foundation for Economics and Education entitled "The CBO's Projections Are Worse Than Useless," Eric Schuler writes, "Long-term analysis and language is commonplace in U.S. national politics, but it achieves no useful outcome. It confuses far more than it clarifies. It does not provide accurate estimates of long-term results. It does not improve the average voter's understanding of policy effects. And it gives politicians a means to claim they are being fiscally responsible without actually exercising any prudence whatsoever. Sometimes the predictions are off because a new Congress is elected and changes the law. Eric Schuler writes that for any projection of a 10-year budget to be accurate, the Congressional Budget Office has to assume that the law won't change for 10 years.
And so, again, this bill, that's a great question that he's asking. Will the deficit be greater next year? And it all sounds like wait and see, right? Wait and see. And I'm not a fan of the whole, wait and see. That's what happened. That's how we got Obamacare, right? The idea that you have to vote for it to see what's in it. We can't keep creating this deficit. We can't keep operating this way as a nation. Elon even said it. We can't do this. At some point, we're not going to be able to sustain this. We've got to make some massive cuts. And I don't understand. Again, I'm not an expert on congressional budgets and the like. I know what my household budget, we can't spend more than we make. We can't keep operating like that. Our creditors will come for us. If I don't pay for this house, they're going to foreclose on me. I can't run up trillions of dollars of debt. I can't. So if it's bad for me, I'm just extrapolating out commonsensically. It should be bad for a nation to do the same, right? Now, when we finally falter, I guess, I don't want my children to have the dollar to be so devalued and our country to be in such a bad state that they can't live the American dream. And it's already happening, because Margie MTG said it, that her children can't buy homes. They can't just come out of college with a good job and purchase a home. And the American dream is essentially unattainable for them unless they are making six figures. And even then, sometimes it can be a struggle depending on what you try to accomplish. And so again, I make, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And in super chats, if you want to see your chat on the screen. I am for members and longtime subscribers and moderators. I do put them on the screen whenever they ask. All right, but unfortunately, we don't have that much time to keep trying this over and over and over again. So I like that people like Rand Paul are actually trying to push back if they see something happening that they don't like. We need people like him in the Senate. We need people in the Congress that are willing to say, okay, look, we're America first. Even if that means we have to disagree with Donald Trump. It's a-okay to disagree with Donald Trump and still be America first if you think that what he's doing doesn't put America first. All right? Isn't that what makes America so great? Right? And speaking of Speaking of America being great, did you all check this? Like, I'm going to check what makes America great, right? Let's listen in, right? Rebecca Lobo decided to say those words, and then all of a sudden she got the smoke. Okay, let's listen in.
So they disagree with you. They do, and I disagree with them, and that's fine. That's what makes America great, right, Pant Ward? I should rephrase that. Yes. But yeah, I did think opinion are perfectly yes, fine. That's a better way to say it. Sorry about that. So they disagree with you. They do, right? And I disagree with them, and that's fine.
And that's fine.
That's what makes America great, right, Pant Ward?
That's racist!
I should rephrase that. Yes.
Yes, you should, right? Because that's racist, right? You cannot say that that's what makes America great. The ability to disagree with each other and and still live in harmony is what makes America great, right? She had to back it up. Exactly, Caleb. She had to back that thing up quick. Oh, man. That's racist. How dare you say that? But y'all know the WNBA is an LGBTQ league, right? So it's all about intersections and DEI, and you can't be a Trump supporter in that league. You can't even intimate that you are a Trump supporter. You can't say anything about that's what makes them. Before 2000, maybe 2012, 2014, she could have made that statement and it would have been absolutely fine. That's what makes America great. The ability to agree without being disagreeable. It's what makes America great. Isn't this the land of opportunity where we have freedom of speech and we can disagree with one another openly, sometimes vociferously, but in the end, we're all Americans, right? No, apparently not anymore, right? Before 20. Oh, man. Yeah, Rebecca, she had to back that up real quick. Okay. Now, I'm a fan. I think that is what makes America great. I don't have to worry about the gulag coming to get me, right? Or, if thought crimes and whatnot. Yeah. I don't have to worry about that. I can be on this podcast broadcasting over the airwaves of YouTube, Instagram. Where else am I broadcasting? X and Facebook. And I don't have to worry about the government coming to get me. Right? Isn't that amazing? I can have at most, I had about 400 to 500 people in here at one time. Isn't that what makes America great? Trump bringing that back so that the mainstream media can't get away with partisanship, right? Yes, we do. We absolutely do, Brother Caleb. We absolutely do. Because that's not the norm, right? That's not the norm, right? Yeah, right. So we actually have to value this because the left will try to take it away, and they have tried to take it away. They tried to censure Donald Trump. They tried anyone who supported him, anyone that, especially if you're black, right? Again, the fact that I didn't vote for Biden or Harris.
And you ain't black.
I ain't black. I already know it. I'm a coon sellout, Uncle Tom, all these other things. I don't really care because, again, it doesn't take much, right? It doesn't take much for people to get on and call you names. Now, let's look at this one. Okay, we're talking about this. We're gonna look at oh goodness, we're gonna talk about this one. You saw the thumbnail, the picture of this gentleman in the thumbnail. Oh boy, this guy, Dwayne Wade. Here we go.
The trans conversation is not the entire conversation with us. This is 10% of our relationship. We have just conversation about anything.
Yeah.
Chicken fingers, French fries, like.
Remember our conversation on mustard?
Yeah, mustard. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want people to think that every time that Zaya and I sit down and have, this daddy-daughter time, and I tell you guys all the time, I always create moments with my village for my people, right? Especially my kids. I'm going to find these moments to create with them. I date them all the time. And so I find these little small moments to date my kids, but that's the moments when you get a chance to get to know them. And then they get a chance to get to know you outside of, the father figure and the child figure that's in the home, right? And so when we get out of the home, we get in the car, we go to restaurants, we go to different places, we go to parks, the shield's off. And now we're just two people trying to get to know each other. The trans conversation.
So, yes, and I am a disgrace to the black community. That's one of the proudest things that I could say, right? I'm an absolute disgrace. I want to disgrace that community if I have to. I don't want to be associated with what is commonly mainstream black America. I'm fine with disgracing them. Absolutely fine. So yeah, you can miss me with that one. Okay with that. Now, to an actual disgrace to the black community, Dwayne Wade. Right? Daddy-daughter time with his XY son. Delusional. He's been parading his son around as a girl for years now. And this is a boy, this is a young boy that is being allowed to parade himself around as a girl. And it's shameful, right? You see this? But this is why it's important for you to marry well, gentlemen, because this is the culprit, the main culprit, right? Right there. That's the reason. This is the main culprit. Gabrielle Union, his wife. Right? This is what happens when you don't marry well. Money is no assurance. Right? Okay? She has been the one that has has done a number on the Wade family. Right? This is saddening. And so again, people will call us sellouts, but praise men like Dwayne Wade for actually selling their family over to Satan by allowing his son to parade around in dresses and pretend that he's a girl. Oh, no. Right? Because you know that the feminist default position is that men are a problem. Masculinity is a problem that needs to be solved. It needs to be corrected. That's the left's narrative, that men are a problem. All right. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in. They believe that the best little boys behave like girls, and that the best little girls want to be like men. Right? Feminism essentially tells women it's better to be a man. That men have it better. You should want to be like men, because being a female and being feminine and being a mother and choosing that life, the traditional lifestyle, it's horrible. It's oppression. You don't want to be oppressed, do you? Right? Do you? No, you got to go out there and get.
I just want some money.
Get that money. Get that what? PhD. Come on, get that PhD. Get your education. Forgo having babies until you're in geriatric pregnancy, and it becomes harder and harder. Then you need to do in vitro fertilization because your eggs are essentially gone. What? And then you'll be on a show with Cheyenne Bryant and Melissa Ford and the like, discussing how you love your life as a childless single woman with dogs. That's right. buy a dog and die alone, right? And this is unfortunately what we've seen in the black community. It's very acute in the black community, because when they enact those policies and ideologies on us, it takes us a little bit longer to get out of the doldrums and come to the conclusion, wait, this is bad for us. Let's get out of here, right? Feminism is cancer, and it should be excised from our life, right? You have women demanding, right?
Open my door.
Right? While also demanding, right? Demanding that we see them as soft, gentle, and feminine, while also demanding that we, as men, open their door. like you just.
You can't make this up.
It's unfortunate, but yeah, it's unfortunate. We have to keep doing this. We have to keep pushing back on this nonsense, though, because men like Dwayne Wade are being praised for sacrificing his family to this feminist succubus that has actually destroyed his life. He doesn't recognize it yet, but again, I think he has some deviant behaviors that he's living through his through his son. And we got one last thing to talk about before we go. Okay, so yeah, all right. Oh wait, one last thing. Okay, one last thing. Now, well, let's talk about this. What you got, brother? Let me look at Brother Caleb Collins's quote. They never highlight those that detransition and the horrors and doctrine they've been cunningly fed to believe the lie, right? And the horrific consequences it has on their health during and after. Absolutely. The left won't ever highlight truths like that. Because what happens if you highlight the truth that this is deleterious, that this is harmful, that this will destroy you, that this will make you depressed, that it can lead to self-deletion, then how can you virtue signal? You can't virtue signal, right? Actually having virtue takes some practice, takes some diligent effort, takes some reading, takes some study, takes some focus, right? It's one of the reasons why I recommend this book to young men and young women alike, right? Classical Christian Virtues, Contemplating the Good Life by Timothy Derlin, right? So, yeah. It's unfortunate that so many people have lost their way. We don't even know how to teach virtue anymore. We don't even understand what the classical virtues are and why people contemplated the good life. Yeah. So unfortunately, we have no one to blame but ourselves when we allow those who virtue signal to get away with believing that they're virtuous. Because we've let them redefine terms. It's always he who defines wins, right? And to that end, we're going to talk about this Black Excellence t-shirt and what it actually means. Let's look at this now. I'm going to read this.
Do you have any children?
I'll read this after.
What are their ages?
4, 3, 2, 1, 6 months.
And where are they? Who are they with?
Their mothers.
How many mothers?
3.
All right, that is not Black excellence. The fact that you're here is not Black excellence, unless that's the name of a building. But I'm assuming it's not. So you are not showing Black excellence to your ancestors or to your mother, your grandmother, or anyone. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So don't wear Black excellence if you're not showing it.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any children?
Notice she didn't say father, though. She said, you're not showing any Black excellence to your mother, your father. I mean, your mother, your grandmother. Matriarchal culture in Black America. Right? Yeah. So, Texas judge calls out a man in court for wearing a Black excellence t-shirt after revealing he has 5 kids with 3 baby mamas. That's not Black excellence. So much is not Black excellence. So much that we call excellence is not Black excellence. We have lost the plot on what it means to be excellent. Right? All right. And he needed to be called out for that nonsense. We have people like him who will wear those shirts saying that they're about black excellence, but their lives say nothing. Excellent. Their lives prove nothing. Excellent. They're doing nothing. Excellent. Because we've changed the definition of the term, right? Let's look at this. I always like to do this. I'm going to do this because Merriam-Webster does a great job. I love the, let's see, word history. There it is. Okay. The etymology, right from the Latin, elexere. The present participle of elexere, right? Do this. And then you go and you find, if they don't give it to you, okay? So, elexere, what is it? Yes, right? Elexo, all right? To rise. And then you get a sense of what the word is actually supposed to mean, all right? So it's supposed to help you to rise. You're rising above your peers, right? Okay, to elevate, to rise up, to rise, to elevate oneself, to surpass, right? And then you have to wonder, what is the actual standard that you're trying to surpass? Is it to be more debaucherous, more degenerate? Well, then yes, that this guy is a picture of, where is he? Is he here? Where is he? I don't know. I'll find him. I'll find him again. He was right there. There he is. He is a picture. Three baby mamas, 5 kids. He's spreading his seed. How many of them is he taking care of? We said they live with their mothers, right? Is he pursuing virtue, the virtue of temperance? Nope. Is he pursuing something that would improve the culture? Nope. Not raising any kids that are going to help the culture. Statistically, it's likely that they're going to follow in his footsteps. Right. Say more tax slaves. Exactly. And people don't understand how the Democrat Party has essentially kept the black community enslaved through the Great Society programs. Right? All right. Feelings don't determine really reality. Facts do. Exactly. Feelings have their place, but we don't live off of them and live by our feelings because they change based on our thinking. Exactly. Right? Exactly. Yeah, he hasn't done anything to be excellent. He deserves no praise. He deserves censure. And I'm glad that the judge actually censured him. Right? Brother Caleb Collins says it again. A lot of people don't feel like going to work daily. Right. But they do because they're right. Or they'll be homeless. I tell my children that a lot. You think my wife and I, you think your mom and I like to get up at 5 o'clock every morning to read scripture, work out, pray, practice instruments. Like I practice piano for an hour and then classical guitar for 30 minutes to an hour later on in the day. You think I like doing that? You think I like coming to this computer and doing my software development every day? You think I like teaching at the music school for 6 hours after I do that? So essentially working from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. to support my family, and then finding time to do lives on Thursdays and Saturdays and produce one teaching video every week. You think I like doing that all the time? No. No. Yeah. No, I don't like doing it all the time. But that's called being an adult. That's called having fortitude. That's called doing what is right. That's what we're called to do. Right? But I don't want to be homeless. And I like taking care of my children and watching them grow. And I love being able to care for my wife and take care of her needs as well. Exactly. The discipline. Yes. Discipline that people always add. There was a funny joke that we used to make all the time whenever we were interviewing as software developers. We had these little jokes, and I think most people have it. But they would always ask us, what are you passionate about, right? And they would expect us to say things like coding. You know, I really want to solve problems, and I love it when the server goes down and I can be the first one there to find the problem, or if the code, you know, breaks, or if there's a network connectivity issue in the software, and we can figure out and diagnose and debug and all this other stuff. And really what our motivation is we don't want to starve. I don't dream about software development. It's not my, I don't, maybe there are some people who do, but I like it because it's lucrative. It has made me lots of money since I started doing it in 2000. Lots of money. And so I like it. I tolerate it. I don't care about, I have to learn new programming languages and new DevOps environments almost every 2 to 5 years. And if you don't, you'll be behind. Who's passionate about that? Not me. But I do it because I like to eat and I like to pay my bills. But people will say that, well, he's living the life. He's excellent because he voted for Biden, right? And me, on the other hand, or the Thomas Sowells, and I'm not putting myself in those, but the Thomas Sowells and the Clarence Thomases and all these other people that worked up the ranks and used their minds and, you know, tried to do something great for society. They get pushed to the margins for the Jay-Z's and the Diddy's and the who are the popular streamers and the funny men and all these other people. They're not elevating culture. They're not helping the society to improve, to rise up, to elevate. But they'll tell us that because we don't follow lockstep with the Democrat agenda.
And you ain't black.
That we ain't black. At this point, we just don't care. You all can say whatever you want. I like reading classic novels. I have books all over the place. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Oh yeah, most people aren't motivated to work out, but they have, built a habitual discipline where now it's habitual. Right. So maybe sometimes they are motivated, but it's more discipline than motivation. Exactly. I started working out consistently when I was 23 years old, and I've done it. That was half my life ago. So over half my life, I've been working out consistently. And that's the only way I've been able to maintain my physique. I'm 50. And my wife and I talk about it all the time. I don't feel like doing this today. Right? Yeah. I don't feel like doing this today. But we do it anyway. Because the alternative is obesity, is comorbidities, is no, we don't want that. And so I've got a video coming out tomorrow. Let's see, I'm going to give you all a little sneak peek. Hold on, I'm going to give you all a little sneak peek, okay, of the video that's coming out tomorrow. Hold on 1 second. It'll be dropping tomorrow on the Evangelical Church and the epidemic of obesity, right? So you get to see a sneak peek of the hook. right? The American Evangelical Church is plump pudding. The proof is in it. Let's get straight to it. We're going to talk about. All right, so that's tomorrow's video that's dropping. Members have already gotten a chance to see it. But yes, tomorrow that video will be dropping. And yes. Yep. So, yeah. But thank you to everybody that's been tuning in. I know people keep saying that I'm here for money. Like, that's a bad thing. Money's not bad. Yes. I'm giving you all my time when I could be spending it doing something else. Of course, I'm going to accept payment for that because my time is valuable. If someone wants to give me a super chat, yeah, I'm fine with that. But they make it seem like that's a bad thing. We need money to survive. And here's the sad thing. Here's the sad thing, right? Here's the sad thing. They want your money too. They're covetous, right? At least I'm honest. I ask for super chats, but I try to provide something. They want your money, and they don't want to provide anything. They want you to work, and then they want to steal your money. But I have the ego problem. They think they deserve your money without working. I'm actually working, paying for subscriptions, right? That's how stupid these people are. They can't even think. You
are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
That's insane. Right? That's insane. These people are exactly what they accuse you of being. This is insane. So they're stupid. You see how dumb they are? They don't even get how asinine their position is. I'm providing entertainment / cultural commentary, paying for subscriptions, and doing this on my time. And if people want to support it, they're well within their right. But guess what I'm not doing? Putting a gun to their head and voting that the government makes them make my podcast skyrocket. I'm doing it of my own volition. See the difference between me? These people are fools. Absolute fools. They think they have the moral high ground, but they're nonsensical. I would invite this fool onto my podcast if he would give a monetary donation. You give me a $10 super chat. I'll give you $10, and I will blister you in the chat to show you how foolish you are. Not 10. You don't get, maybe 10. Give a super chat, right? Yeah. Who is this fool that keeps thinking I'm a part of Islam? Who is this fool? Oh goodness. Oh goodness. He thinks I'm a Muslim. Before he started chatting, it popped up with the Jesus Christ is Lord. What Muslim do you know that puts that in the rules of engagement? Right? How idiotic do you have to be when somebody says Jesus Kuria? Yes. Oh. Jesus is Lord. But no. Goodness. Wow. Yes, indeed. Right? That's insane. That is insane. Yes. Right? And see, it's Yahshua, not Jesus. Here comes the Y. The J was in the letter until. Here it comes. How long we've been dealing with this nonsense for years? My goodness. Right? The J wasn't a letter. Right. Learn how transliteration works. Exactly. Petros. P. The letter P. Peter. These people are insane to me. Iesus. Iota. There is no J in the Greek, but they use the iota. Iesus. Right? This is actually people like we actually, I don't know. Right. Yeah. This is insane. Right. I don't know. Yeah. Thank you, Jarrell TX. I appreciate you. Right. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like this. But the problem, this is the thing. So these people actually, they believe that these arguments are, what's the word? What's the word I'm thinking of? Oh, goodness, it's getting late. But they think that these arguments are the death knell to Christianity, right? And they look at these, they're essentially red herrings to get you off of the path. That the J, it's not Jesus, it's Yeshua. We speak English. Well, valid is one. Yeah, valid. You're right, Brian Murray. That's one. But they think that these are sound arguments that can be irrefutable. That's the word. Yeah, unassailable or irrefutable. Those are the ones that I'm looking for, right? And you need three characteristics or three port of an unassailable or true premises. Clear terms, true premises, and valid logic, right? For an unassailable argument. And whenever I'm doing my prepared videos, I always think about that. I look at the argument and I say, hey, am I clearly defining terms? Are all of these premises true? And do they follow naturally to the conclusion that I'm trying to make, right? In my Christian Zionism video, that's what I did. Am I doing those three things? And so I think that when I do that, I actually have created an unassailable argument, right? And so that's what I do whenever I'm creating a new video, okay? I don't always hit. That's not always the case, but, that's what I'm trying to do. Now, they think that because they have heard some silly arguments from people in the past, and they've heard, oh, Jesus would be a socialist. Okay, I know your socialist professor told you that, but those of us who actually read the Bible, we know that that's not true. We know of your misinterpretation of the Acts scripture, where everybody had all things in common. So you extrapolate that out to saying the government should control the means of production and provide. Yeah, we know that you guys don't understand the scriptures. We've heard this hundreds of times. I'm almost 50 years old. I've been a Christian since 2012. I've heard this over and over. I've debated atheists while you were probably, in elementary school, getting packed lunches. I'm not impressed by you. I'm not interested in your thoughts on anything because you don't have the wisdom to see past your stupidity for the most part. So again, that's why when people say, oh, you're not looking at the chat. No, I'm not looking at the stupid things that people say in the chat, but I am looking at things that my moderators say and that people who I actually respect say, even if they disagree with me, when they come in and they're respectful, I engage with disagreements. But if you prove yourself to be a fool at the outset, then I'm well trained enough to say, well, I can ignore that. This person's talking. They're not saying anything worthwhile. If I want to address it, I will. But you don't move my needle. You're interested in what you say. I'm not. I have a show to run. I'm not interested in. This is not your show. I know some of you think that it is. Some of you think that you're the star of the Developing Dad podcast. You're not. Right? I have to run this show. I have a rundown. I'm the one that has to follow this script. I'm looking at this script, right? This is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this. I've got to get through all of this. This is my rundown, right? And I'm like, oh, okay. I've got to get through all of these, right? And I've got to talk about them, and I've got to have cogent things to say about it, right? I've got this. This is my other rundown. These are my rundowns with my links and everything, right? So, again, like I'm trying to run through all of this, right? These are my rundowns, and I'm trying to work through them in a timely fashion. Now, if I want to have a smoke show and I invite people on and I address everything in the chat, then yes, I might open it up and we have an open Q&A. But I don't know where you guys, like, some of these people really think that they come on to the show and that everything that they say has to be addressed in the chat. That's that participation trophy generation. They think that every time they talk, that someone has to address them. It's very prideful. You guys are right. Pride is evil. They think that they can come into someone else's show in their chat and think that everything that they say needs to be addressed. That's very prideful, guys. That's very prideful. You're right. And it's very ignorant. Absolutely. Right? And then they think that if there are like 200 people in the show, that I'm going to see everything that they say. That's another one, right? It's insane, right? Where's my exactly, Michael Wilbur? Where's my participation, right? And then they think, well, I'm going to gaslight him into accepting my position, or I'm going to call him names, or I'm going to say this thing about him, and I'm going to get him to respond to me. And I'm like, guys, you're really showing your ignorance right now. I don't know how else to say it. But if you want, start your own channel and you can say whatever you want, and you can control who gets to be placed on the screen, and it's your world and everybody else is just visiting. That would be amazing. I think you guys would really like that. I think you would. And you've been here hanging out with me for over an hour, complaining in my chat, calling me names. Obviously, something I've said has kept you here. Right? Something I've said, because you're free to leave. Like, I'm not holding you here at gunpoint. I'm not holding you here at gunpoint. Yeah. You see how they think that everything's about them? Look at, he thinks that he's the only person I'm talking to. He says, I haven't called a single name. I'm not just talking to you. See how selfish and self-centered he is? He thinks that I'm talking only to him. I'm making a general point about the rise and run of this episode and many other episodes. He thinks it's all about him. They don't even recognize how self-centered they are. But they'll call me that. Right? See, it's insane, right? I don't know. Right? See how each one of them is going to say something. They're going to bring it back to their self-centered hurt feelings, right? You didn't address my, right? Goodness. Oh, anything else y'all want me to address? I could actually, let me know, because I know, look, let's see. I know that there are, and I've had some of my members and long-term supporters send me stuff on Instagram. Anything that you all have been thinking about that y'all want me to address, possibly today for the last 5 minutes that we have, or tomorrow. I know my wife sends me stuff that she wants me to take a look at. Sometimes it makes the show, sometimes it doesn't. But I've had, people send me interesting things that, oh, you know what? I actually send myself stuff. Let's see, hold on one second. I'm looking over here to see if there's anything that I sent myself that I might want to discuss in this. Nah, nothing from there. Looking at my X bookmarks and my TikTok bookmarks. If there's anything else to discuss, possibly. I mean, we had that. We had that issue with who was that? That rapper that got his visa revoked for talking trash about America. I think I've covered pretty much everything tonight. Yeah. We'll say, can you address how people can interact with non-believers and help them overcome their hate? Oh, now that's a great that's a great question. Brian Murray. Right? Let's see. I have G.K. Chesterton's where is that book? Orthodoxy? I've read a portion of it, but I haven't read the full. I know. Look, he said, should I bring my wife back on? He said that episode was fire. You're gonna have to talk about. Yeah, you find what you're saying her first name. You got to talk to her. She might be watching right now, but she might be watching right now. But yeah, we had that pride parade where all the guys were just walking around, hanging brain, and they just allow it. Yeah. Oh goodness, there's so much stuff. See, I told y'all. She is right. She's watching. Caleb, you're gonna have to convince her, right? You're gonna have to convince her. You got to figure out. You got to convince her to come back on. But that might just be for members. If I bring her on, it'll only be for members, where we get a chance to discuss marital topics, biblical womanhood, manhood. You know, how we run our home, the things that we. Oh, I forgot to talk about old Whoopi. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I try to read, Jay Flynn, I try to read widely. I have a lot more. You know what? I actually have 3 credits in Audible. I might just pick up Orthodoxy and read along with it, as I do sometimes with books. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, it's not that she doesn't. Well, it's a time thing and also so it's a time. Let her tell you in the chat. She'll tell you in the chat. I don't want to speak for my wife, right? She'll tell you why she hasn't been on. And then I'm not as consistent. Now, we did talk about this. We talked about possibly coming on one member only monthly live, where she and I come on maybe once a month. She might come on every other month, right? Yeah. But yeah, that's a possibility, right? You know. All right, let's listen to this one. I forgot to talk about what's her name? Whoopsie Goldberg. Whoopsie Goldberg, right? Here we go. Whoopsie. Whoopsie talks about a lot of stupid
we can
stuff.
Fool with and things we can't. Healthcare is one of those things that you shouldn't be able to fool with. And insurance companies who you pay, I pay into my insurance, you pay into your insurance. I don't understand. If I don't go to the hospital for a whole year, where's my money? Why don't you give me the money back? Then you don't have to worry about it. Because I feel like, I said this, okay.
We got Bill coming on.
I know we got Bill coming.
Right? So she wants the money back. She wants the money back. This will be the last thing we talk about. She wants her money back, y'all. After all those years. Now, I'm not going to say that I haven't said that in the past, right? But they do make a lot of money off of your non-sickness. That's one of the reasons why my wife and I started to take our health into our own hands. And we don't leave. Insurance is supposed to be for emergencies, right? Okay. No, but I that's the thing. Now here's the thing. I actually don't have a problem with the mindset. So insurance is a very, very, you have to peel back so many layers, right? Insurance, it's just so, because it's not supposed to be for. So, okay, we're so unhealthy in America. That's a part of the problem. And then we also have the issue with the poisons that are being put in our food and all of these other things. But yes, I believe that preventative care is real. My wife and I are all about preventative care. We take all kinds of supplements, and we are continually trying to eat well. We only indulge on weekends, and we just try to prevent most diseases by being healthy and living an active lifestyle. And so for us, insurance was essentially a money pit. And I get it. If I'm opposed to it, I'm not going to pay into it. And if you actually ask the doctor's office for the cash pay fee schedule, you'll find out how much of a scam insurance actually is. And we did that. We said, well, we're going to cash pay. Do you have a fee schedule for cash pay? And they gave us the fee schedule for cash pay, and it was like any other business. You come in, you pay this amount for this thing, you choose the things that you want. You don't have to worry about them negotiating the price with the insurance company, which sometimes could be 3 to 5 to 10 times higher than the fee schedule that they are charging on the books. And having written software for general practitioners, orthodontists, and pediatric dentists, and having to import ICD-9s and ICD-10s and CPT codes, which explain what the diagnoses are and then the treatments and seeing the price. I said, well, we don't have to, if we're not going to pay all of that overhead for the negotiation with the insurance company. And you're right, some doctors do not provide that. Find one that does. And that's why. And so insurance is supposed to be for emergencies and things that you can't do on a normal cycle, right? If you're a healthy individual, generally you can just go to the doctor and pay for those services there. Now, when you have a terminal illness and the like, that's when insurance can come into play and be very helpful, because you can't pay for it out of pocket. And those are the outlier cases. Everybody's not dealing with that. For the majority of us are not dealing with that, right? And so if you have some disease that needs care that you couldn't prevent, then yes, insurance is an avenue that you can take if you're not independently wealthy. But for the rest of us who don't actually have those issues, I shouldn't be paying $1,500 premiums monthly in order to defray the cost for someone else who may have diseases that are brought upon by poor lifestyle choices. That's essentially what happened under Obamacare. My premiums for my family were $1,500 a month. We still have the image showing. I shared it on Facebook when Obamacare came out and our premiums went up. And so, no, I wasn't going to give them $1,400 per month. And again, if you understand, my wife and I have looked into, my wife will tell you, she can tell you what we looked into just in case we have accidents, right? She'll put it in there. You guys are asking questions that we've already asked, and these are not gotcha questions. But I wasn't going to pay $1,400 a month for that when Obamacare came out. I don't even know what it is now, because I don't. Yeah. So, yeah. You say you pay a third of that for a family of 5? Kudos. Yeah. Kudos. So, yeah. But, right, exactly. There she put it up there. I knew she was going to put it in there. Accident, emergency, short-term disability insurance. Right there. Boom. Yep. Yeah. Boom. And so again, all right. Yeah. I mean, she put it up there for you guys. I don't know. I don't know why you guys, why are you all so so angry? I don't understand that. That doesn't make any sense to me. What are you all so angry about? Yes, Aries love, I am self-employed. That's exactly why. What are you all so angry about? It doesn't make sense to me that y'all are so angry. Do my opinions make you all that angry? Right? See, there it is, right? They're the deflection. It's just funny to me. I'm like, why are you so angry at me? Like, what did I do? Because I don't want to pay $1,400 a month in insurance? That makes you mad? That I don't want to pay into a Ponzi scheme that I get nothing out of because I'm generally healthy, and then my wife and I can get. Well, if Miss T, you just got here, then you're not angry. So hey, I don't understand that. Why should I pay? Why should I pay? Yeah, why should I have to pay that? Not you, Anna, but this other guy, this David Hughes guy. He seems to be very, very angry that I don't want to pay for people with type 1 diabetes or all these other, or someone who has leukemia. They always go to the outlier as though that's disproving the norm or the main. If someone's actually healthy, why should I have to pay that much for health insurance? I, as a healthy American who will not be using the system, why should I have to pay that much? Yeah, Aries love, that's actually one of the downsides of being a self-employed person. Yep. That you have to pay for all of that stuff yourself. But there's also, freedom. Yeah. And again, privatized, I don't want. Well, David Hughes, that's fine if you're the outlier, but I can't govern based on you. And I'm not going to change my positions based on the outlier. You don't govern based on the outlier. You don't govern based on every edge case. That's just, okay, you have a personal issue, but don't project that crap on me. Because I don't want to pay $1,400 because of you being the outlier. You're projecting. You're mad. You're in your feels. But that doesn't make me have to be responsible for paying $1,400 a month in insurance for my family. You're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. You think that everybody has to govern based on your personal experience. Right? That's not how we govern. We govern for the main. Then the church is actually the entity that's supposed to be filling the needs and the gaps for those who need assistance and help outside of the main. David, let me explain something to you. I don't know you. So why should I care about you? I don't know you. I don't know you. You were diagnosed with all three of those things at 8 years old. Okay. You came into my podcast. I just met you today. You think I was thinking about you when Obamacare came out? I don't know you. I don't know you. And your story, you're some random person on the internet. Your story is not going to move me. This is the beautiful thing about being a Christian. God gives us spheres to concern ourselves with. See, he worries about the world. I can't worry about the world. I don't have omnipotence. I'm not omnipresent. I'm not omnipotent. I don't have the power to change your life. I do have the power to change my wife's life, and I do have the power to change my children's lives and the people around me, people like Caleb that I know personally. But I'm not required to do the same that I would do for you, for my family, for you. So my level of care for you is much smaller. I don't think about you. And am I supposed to think about him? Let me how can you all, so how can Christians, because you all are very foolish in your understanding of Christianity. Am I supposed to care am I supposed to treat every, let's say I have a brother. Oh no, let's look at Caleb. I know Caleb personally. If Caleb came to me and he needed something, I would do something for my brother. He's my neighbor. I know him. Boom. Now, David Hughes wants me to spend $1,400 into Obamacare, into a system, right? To a insurance company who I don't know what they're going to do with that money. They're paying what they're essentially doing, and this is what was proven, is that they were raising the premium so that they would be able to take care or pay for the people who are now going to be covered that weren't covered prior to that had pre-existing conditions. So they were passing the buck down to the rest of us who were healthy. Now, I have to make a decision. I want to pay. Do I pay $1,400 for some random person, for some fools who don't understand what Christianity is, or do I take that money and I do something with my family and feed them? You see how stupid you guys are? My $1,400 is supposed to support David Hughes and not the 5 kids and the wife that I have? Do you see how dumb that is? I've never been commanded by God to worry about David Hughes, but I have been told to protect my children, and the one that does not provide for his family and for his household has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. That's 1 Timothy 6:10. See, you guys don't know your Bible. You're barking up the wrong tree here. So you have this nebulous, tingly in my feels Christianity that is divorced from the actual Bible. So you're messing with the wrong one. I know what my calling is as a father, to take care of my wife and my children first. My money is made for that. It is not meant to spend $1,400 of my dollars to possibly take care of you, random person that I've never met, so an insurance company can possibly pay for your sickness. And they may or may not pay for your sickness. To that I say no. I'm going to keep my money. I'm not interested in your situation. There are people around you that could be helping you. I don't know you though. And there are people around me that when they ask for help, guess what? We're willing to give, because I can look them in the eye and I know who they are. And that is how you actually deal with your neighbor. Go to the scriptures and the one who, think about this for a second. You all have divorced all of the theology from the fact that it was clear and present. You were present with the person that you were dealing with. When the Good Samaritan didn't go and legislate. He actually got in there with the person. Took him to the inn. He was personally there. He could see him. You all have turned Christianity into democratic socialism. We don't care about you all. We don't care about you all. You can say all kinds of things, but we understand how stupid your theology is, because I've actually read the Bible, and I'm the one that has to deal with people who are actually in person with me. So you all don't know what I do in person. You're judging me based on the foolishness of me not paying $1,400 for your pre-existing conditions. I laugh at you. I'm laughing at you. Your pre-existing condition somewhere in God knows where is not my concern. There are Christians in your sphere. Go and talk to them. You don't get to legislate that I have to pay 3 times as much as I was paying in insurance based on your misinterpretation of the Bible. Right? They still have not removed that. Right. Exactly. Exactly. Right? You all can call you can say all of this stuff that you want to say. Right? Whatever you want to say. None of you make any difference, because I know that you don't know your Bible. I know. You don't know your Bible every time you talk. Health insurance is not what the scriptures were talking about. You guys are fools. Health insurance is not. It's actually insane that y'all think that. Because none of you even realize that we were a part of a Christian health sharing organization where we actually got to write notes and checks to people so that they would be taken care of. So they don't even know that it's insane that you guys are just running off at the mouth. Running off at the mouth. Absolutely foolish. Wow. Absolutely foolish. Yeah, I mean, this is insane, right? Thank you. So I know I got some people there, but this is insane. Like, these people really, they're virtue signaling. We have to pay for their pre-existing conditions, or we're not Christian. What? That is, wow. They really think that they really think they know their Bible. That's insane, right? Goodness. Ooh, boy. Ooh, goodness. Whew. No, you wouldn't. David, you're a liar, right?
Why you always lying?
No, you wouldn't. Because you don't know me. You don't know me. Prove it. I'm gonna see if you. Okay, David. I'm gonna put you to the test. Today is June 30th. I have a goal that I like to hit at the end of every month to pay for every one of my subscriptions based on my YouTube revenue. I'm $50 short of that goal. Super chat now, or you're a coward and a liar. Do it. Help me. Help me right now. Come on. Come on. Do it. Help me. He said he'd help me. He said he'd help. He said, I would help you. When you need help, I'd help you. I need help. He won't do it. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. I'm gonna lay the gauntlet down. Prove me wrong. I bet you won't do it. You coward. I bet you won't do it. Do it. I'm waiting. Exactly. Exactly. We won't be seeing that $50 super chat come through. Come on. Crickets. I wish I had the cricket sound effect. That would be awesome. Right. Oh man. See, right? There it is, right? He wants look. So he has 3. So David has 3 pre-existing conditions, and he says that I'm not being Christian by not wanting to. He wants me to pay $1,400 a month in insurance so that his pre-existing conditions can be covered. He said it was unchristian of me to do that. He said, but he'd help me if I needed it. Right? Exactly. I was like, wow. Yeah, you hear the crickets. Exactly. Right. Now, there you go. Exactly. Exactly. See, there it is, right? Now all he's going to do is insult and mock because I called him out and he's a coward, right? And he's just a nonsensical person, right? Yeah. Well, I'm already done with the show, fool. Anna, the show has been over for a while. If you've been paying attention. My goodness, you guys are dumb. All right. I'm about to go and take my shower and get ready for my day next day. Let's close out. All right. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, support. Thank you to everybody that has tuned in and has supported so far. All right. I might see you all tomorrow. Now, definitely that video on the evangelical church being plump is coming out tomorrow. All right. Until next time, be on the alert. Stand firm in the faith. Act like men. Thank you, Corey Lawler. God bless you too. Be strong. See y'all around. Bye.